Good morning, everyone. Or hello, good day, evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us today. We've got Priscilla MK on today, which I'm really excited about. She's running a couple minutes late. I'm just watching some videos on her mantis shrimp back there. That thing's a beast. It's amazing. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can have a little bit of a look at it today. Can I just get an audio check? Last week, I didn't have my mic plugged in, and I went the whole hour without my mic. All right. Who have we got here? So Streetwise, great guest choice. How are you, Streetwise? Scott's Aquatics. Pat, how you going? We're all talking about our guest today, which I'm excited for. Oh, everything just shifted to the bottom of the screen. Don't you love it when that happens? And now on this, I've completely frozen. That's a good start, isn't it? Let's remove me. Add me. All right, well, interesting. No, not really. The browser has lost connection to the camera. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 sec. What a start. I'm usually sort of like rushing around trying to get things working just before the stream. Today, I got everything organized early, and now it's not working. All right, we go back here, fix this. Lucky our guest isn't here, hey? No. Guess what? My backup camera's not working either. Oh, no. Oh, wow. This is fantastic. All right. So let me go back, say hello to everyone. Hopefully I'll figure something out during the stream to get my beautiful face back on. But hey, it could be a blessing in disguise for some of you. Candy, how you going? Zen Ginger, Cichlids 23, thanks for joining us. Did I miss anyone there? No. Keep going down. Amy, how you doing? Craig, Bill, how is everybody today? You all having technical difficulties like me? Cat Ray, William, the other Tiffany, how you going? Ugly Man's Reefing, good to see you. Thanks for the advice during the week. Lazarus. All right, so I'll keep talking this way. So for those of you that have seen the Aqua Mate Experience, thank you very much. I'm really enjoying doing this series with all the different guests, and can't believe we're up to episode 19 already. We've booked in Joel from Corvus Austin to be joining us next week, so that will be exciting. Generally, we try and just get to the bottom of what tempted our guests to dabble in the hobby of fish keeping, and where has it brought them? What does their journey look like? So I really enjoy sort of getting to know the people behind either the channel, either like the artwork today we can talk about, local fish stores, another thing we can talk about today, and just even being in the industry. So it has been really, really fun. I think we have our guest. We already back there? Oh, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. You don't look like you've just come out of the ocean at all. What are you talking about?
No, I did literally just come from work.
I appreciate it. I thought that we would have a couple hours, but you're not in the same. You're more east, aren't you?
More middle of the country.
Yes. You've missed it. I've had 2 cameras die on me in the first 5 minutes. It's been successful so far.
Should I turn mine off too? Just
so everyone can just look at a blank screen.
sure.
Now, I know you've seen a few episodes before and you're a channel member. I really appreciate all the support. So you kind of know where we usually start these streams is at the beginning of your journey with keeping fish. So where did it all sort of begin for you?
So I did keep a goldfish when I was like first grade, like everybody did. And then I didn't get into fish keeping till I was a teenager. First time I lived by myself, I did get a 10-gallon and did all the classical beginner mistakes, which turned me off from fish keeping. And then in 2012, I moved from Switzerland to the United States. And I saw PetSmart had a 75-gallon tank on sale for like $400. And I thought that was the greatest deal in the world.
Yeah.
So I bought that and did the same mistakes again. I didn't do research. I got a bunch of guppies that didn't make it and platies that ended up having thin spines. And they sold me a common pleco as well. They told me it was going to do fine in a 75. And then like 2 years later, I was like, this fish is way too big. So I started doing research and stumbled across people on YouTube back in like 2013. So there wasn't that many people on YouTube then, but I saw Corey, Dustin's Fish Tanks, King of DIY, and I just started doing research with what I was buying, basically. And then maybe in 2016, I ended up having about 40 plus tanks at my house. So I just kept adding and adding tanks, like the classical multi-tank syndrome. And I was breeding angelfish, guppies, danios, pleco, shrimp, a little bit of everything.
So what was the thing? You said you made some mistakes early on. So what was, obviously YouTube can help in talking with other people and learning, but sort of what was the big thing that you sort of feel like you went from trying to have fish, making the mistake, and then all of a sudden going, oh, I've got this, and now I have 40 tanks all of a sudden?
Well, because I made those mistakes. I didn't research the fish on my own. I just went to PetSmart and bought it, and they'd sell you whatever you want. So, but then I found a place to rehome the pleco, and he lives in a 180-gallon now with a friend of mine. And so I started. First, I wanted to keep angelfish in those 75, and then they started breeding. And then I was like, oh my God, I have to do something with the babies. So I set up another tank for the babies. And then I started adding other fish, and all these fish started breeding, and I just had to set up more tanks. And then I got into plants because I'm terrible with house plants. I always forget to water them. And I was like, oh my God, plants that live in the water, I don't have to water them.
You can't forget to water them.
Yeah. So I started researching and got into aquascaping. And then I think I reached a point where I just set up a tank for just plants, just to make escape and have plants. And it was more of a secondary thing to add fish to it. But yeah, and then shrimp, and it just went from there.
I know you've followed a lot of, like, you've got the puffers, you've got the saltwater, and yeah, as you said, starting live bearers, breeding cichlids like angelfish and that sort of thing. So you've covered a wide variety.
Mm-hmm.
What was the biggest difference between Switzerland and the US, I suppose, with the hobby? I mean, it sounds like you weren't fully into the hobby as much in Switzerland, though, but...
Well, everything in the States is a little bit cheaper, more affordable, easier to get than it is in Europe. Which is probably why I just set up more tanks, because it wasn't really expensive. It was like $1 per gallon sale, get like 10 more 10-gallon tanks. It's $100.
What, did they use gallons or liters back
Liters.
home?
Liters.
So you can understand that Americans the only one that's sort of backward in that, yeah?
Yeah, it's totally backwards still. I mean, I've been here for almost 10 years and I still live on the metric system.
Yeah, because it makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get my head around gallons, and I've been talking to an American audience for like over a year, and I'm like, 50, 55 gallon, I don't know. And then I just use the rule 4 liters to 1 gallon, but apparently that's not quite right either.
It's like 3.8 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think I always think about it and go, oh, imagine if they had $1 a liter sale. Man, that's not that good a value then, is it?
No, that would be terrible. Yeah.
All right, so it was a bit cheaper in the States, so it's a bit easier. Was there more like that you could get a hold of easier as well, or is there, less variety in the States compared to back home?
I don't know. Maybe I just never paid too much attention to it in Switzerland, really, because I just went to go buy one tank and bought some fish for it, and that was it.
Yeah. Have you ever been back?
Yes, I was back like 4 years ago. Yeah.
I reckon that'd be really interesting next time you go back. If you go, hang on, I'm just going to check out an aquarium and just see.
Yeah, check out the local fish stores.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, I know that sounds really silly, but I went to Japan about 2 years ago now with the family, and I took the camera and everything, but I wasn't really doing fish videos. I hadn't started a YouTube channel or anything like that yet. But now I'm going, I missed so many opportunities to go and check it out. And I see people that go into the stores in Japan and like they're selling rice fish in just a dinner bowl, like just a bowl, no air stones, no nothing. And you go, how different is this? And I don't know, just to see what works for them and how things are done differently would be really cool. And then also, obviously, you own a fish store as well.
I don't own the store. I manage the store.
You run the store.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting there whether there's something you could bring back to a different flavor. So how did you got 40 tanks? Then is that when you decided that, or you wanted to work in the industry, or how did that all sort of come about?
Well, no. So because I had 40 tanks, my boss, the current owner of the fish store, he bought the store, when was it, 2018, February, he bought it, and he needed a manager. And we have a mutual friend, and that mutual friend recommended me to him.
Okay.
Basically. And so he called me and he said, hey, I'm buying this fish store. It's really run down. It's really terrible, but I need a manager so we can turn this thing around. So we met up. I gave him my resume and everything. 2 weeks later, he calls me back and goes like, all right, you got the job. And that basically was it. That's how it started. And that fish store I manage has been in business for 38 years now.
Okay.
So the previous owner, he was more focused on doing maintenance accounts, and used parts, used tanks, and used the store basically just as a ground for his maintenance, for his service accounts.
Okay.
So it wasn't really like set up to be just retail, so we had to turn that whole thing around.
So when you say maintenance accounts, do you sort of mean like go around and maintain aquariums for other people and businesses?
Yes, like when restaurants or doctors' offices or hospitals have fish tanks, they usually hire somebody to take care of them and just pay a monthly fee, and those people come and clean it.
Yeah, we've got a lady who lives local. It's a shame. I met her through the fish store near me, but I don't really have her details. she lives in the same town as me, and I don't live in a big town. And now that fish store's closed, I was like, oh, would have been an opportunity to learn that side of things and try and document it as well. Be a bit of fun. But do you still do any of that?
We don't have enough staff right now to do maintenance, but here or there we do like an account or two, or recommend the old previous owner basically. So he still buys all his fish from us and all his supplies he needs for his account. So.
Okay, well, that's a bit of a score. Sounds like a good account to have.
It kind of works out for everybody.
That's good. So, all right, so you've gone through and you've sort of had to turn this shop around and turn it into a retail front. So what were your priorities, and what are the sort of things you're like, we've got to do this, we need to set this up, and we've got to get these fish, and we've got to get saltwater, freshwater, or?
Yeah, so the thing was, I thought I knew a lot about fish before I started the job, because I was breeding all this fish and keeping all this fish, and I was pretty good at it. But I really thought I knew everything, or I know a lot, but I didn't know anything then when it comes down to it. Like, keeping fish at home is one thing, but then buying the fish to sell the fish, and keeping it alive in a store, and just the whole retail experience with customers is a whole different thing. And I didn't keep saltwater before I started the job, but we keep saltwater at the store. So that was kind of like, you got to figure it out like now.
Yes. Yeah. I can relate on a much smaller level.
Yeah. And it's like, when you keep fish yourself and you go like, oh, angelfish, they originated in the Amazon River. I mean, they're domesticated, but they originated there, or this fish originated there. When you buy fish to sell, it's like the fish comes from the other side of the world, not from where they originated from. And then you got to figure out, what fish can I buy? What fish shouldn't I buy? How much should I pay for this fish? Depending on where the fish is coming from, like they could come in with certain sickness. All the things you don't really deal with when you're just a customer and you go to the fish store and buy fish. So that was a huge learning curve for sure.
Yeah, I could imagine. Like, I was talking to Blake and Kendall the other day, and talking about if you went into a fish store. I think you were in the chat. You went into a fish store and you saw, I don't know, let's just say CPDs, because they're right next to me. You really wanted to get some CPDs. You go there, they've got a bunch of them, good price, but there's one or two that don't look quite right in the fish tank and that sort of thing, like making that decision of, do I risk it? I can imagine if you end up buying the wrong thing in bulk for a shop, that it's a lot more risky when you sort of make that call where you go, actually, I don't really think that's a good idea. Or
yeah, and it's really like, if I buy CPDs and I buy them and they come from Indonesia, I know what they're going to be sick with. If I buy them and I know they come from Malaysia, I know they're going to have a different type of sickness. So that's why just learning all that is so much on your brain.
Yeah, I wouldn't even sort of think about it going, all right, different breeders are going to have different strains of issues, I suppose.
Yeah, or like discus are the perfect example. If I buy discus and they come from Indonesia, there's a 90% chance that they're going to be sick. But if I buy them from a different country, they will cost much more. So it's kind of like, what are you going to do? You're going to buy the fish that are not the best quality for cheaper, try to nurse them to health, or you're going to buy the ones that are more expensive and they're going to be more healthy, but then you're going to end up charging the customer more. So that's why it's weird.
No, I'm really glad you brought up that comparison. So from a business perspective then, do you sort of take the approach and go, all right, I will buy some of the really expensive ones and I will keep them out the back and try and breed them myself to then recoup that and know that you've got now a strong line? Or is that just too much time and effort to actually be profitable at the end?
That's too much time and effort, and the time and effort is money. So yes, that's why we don't really do that. Like we can't afford to do that. We would have to have another facility just to do that.
I remember the video that Joey, King of DIY, made about how he made $20,000 out of discus, but he said he'd never do it again because just the time and effort and everything. Have you seen that video?
No, I don't think so.
It's an interesting one. It's sort of a clickbait title, had it made $20,000 selling fish, but then you go into the story. I know a local fish store near me sort of has tried that approach, and as someone that loves discus and has bought discus in the past, and there's always been some sort of underlying issue to begin with. They'll live for like a year, and then all of a sudden I have like a drop off or something. Like for example, I had like a really beautiful, I don't know what type it was. It was sort of like an albino discus, and she never really ate. I had her for 6-7 months. She laid eggs and everything, but I never really saw her eat. So like, something is up. And if you spend down here, $40-50 on a discus, I feel like you're just sort of getting, maybe that's exactly it. And I haven't understood that I'm getting like the cheaper Indonesian ones where there's probably an issue. And then you go in.
Like perfect example is I ordered maybe like 3 months ago, I ordered like 20 discus for fairly cheap from a cheaper source. And I think they ended up costing the store about $15 per discus. And we were going to sell them for $65. But they all came down with the angelfish riders, and I lost all of them. So it's kind of like, you have 20 fish and they're $15 a piece. It's a lot of money that you will lose when it comes down to it. And somebody asked in the chat what percentage of fish don't make it. And I mean, our all over percentage that doesn't make it is around 8% to 5%, which is not that bad compared to what it was when we started.
Yeah. Sorry. My mother-in-law is meant to be coming and picking up Harry, and we're not sure what time she's coming. So Harry's like, where is she? Here you go. So at some stage, I might have to run off and just say, hey, bye.
Okay. Yeah, no, so the 5% that don't make it doesn't mean like 5% of every type of fish is dying. That's like 5% of everything. Also, when like the 5, and especially like if I lose a triggerfish that costed us $30, it's the same percentage as if I lose 60 neon tetras. So that's why the 5% is just the all over from the cost of fish that we use.
Yeah, that's a weird one because like I've managed retail stores in the past, and all my stock didn't have a heartbeat, so it was a lot easier. The only time we lost stock was when someone had their grubby mitts in our. We had what are they called? Beats by Dre. We had the Beats headphones, and someone left the shelf open, and I watched 4 people on the camera within 5 minutes walk in and steal stuff.
Yeah, but I mean that's lost money there too then.
Yeah, I suppose, but then on the flip side, you wouldn't have too many people stealing fish. Or do you have a story about that?
Not really, but I've heard that sometimes people go out of their way and they have a bag of water in their pockets and steal corals. I
have heard of that too.
So
it was Coral Fish 12G, like the gingerbread twins or whatever. They run a store, and they caught someone on camera stealing a coral.
Yeah, so we don't carry that many expensive corals, so it's not really an issue for us. We more carry saltwater fish. And I don't know. I mean, if somebody's gonna try to steal a 1-foot puffer, I mean, without somebody noticing, that'd be pretty impressive.
So why is your pocket blowing up?
Yeah.
There was another question here too. Do you buy fish from hobbyists?
So the problem is with buying fish from hobbyists. Well, it's not a problem. I love buying local from hobbyists. but people always think they're gonna get more money than I'm willing to pay.
Yep.
So there's certain fish I'm not taking because I know we can get them for much cheaper and much more cost effective wholesale. Like I won't buy any guppies really because guppies aren't popular here either. Like certain states, you can sell a pair of guppies for $30, but not here in this state. It just doesn't work out. Our guppies are $3. I will take guppies, but I'll be honest and be like, look, you can either have so much cash or so much store credit. And
Yeah.
I like to give store credit because store credit means we're making some money back still from
Yeah.
that.
They've got $50, but they're going to come back and spend 70. So you're going to get 20 and some stock. Yeah.
Yeah, and the problem is too, every time hobbyists sell us fish, the fish are always too small. Like I have to often tell people like the fish has to be like bristlenose plecos. Everybody wants to sell bristlenose plecos, but I'm like they have to be like 1.5 to 2 inches at least. Otherwise, they're just gonna get lost in our tanks, and they grow up in our tanks.
Yes. And that's it. You want them ready to sell.
Yes.
I've got
Not ready to grow up or having to grow them up for 2 months and then sell them.
I have that with Crebensis because they're always breeding onto the 3rd generation now, whatever. But it takes probably 6 months or so for anyone to have their fry that they think they can sell at a pet store to really hit the right sort of sizes and colors that someone would actually want to buy them in a shop. And I think people get excited and go, "Oh, I've got babies. Can I give them to you and you pay me?" I've seen it while I've been in shops too.
Oh, and if you come and go like, I have 20 discus, do you want them? I'll be like, yes, please. So, it really all depends on the fish you're trying to sell at the fish store.
There we go. Candy's saying they only take plecos at 2 to 3 inches. It is a funny one because what do you do as far as like if I had 10 fish tanks and I kept breeding the fish, but then a pet store doesn't want them until they hit a certain size, then you kind of find, well, hey, I have to move these ones on because the next batch of fry are coming on. So now I need to open up another tank. And then you have that many fish that you can't really sell them on, as you would say, Craigslist over there or Gumtree at much of a profit either. It's a funny one. I think when you do breed fish at home, it's a whole other ball game, I suppose, trying to breed them to actually profit or I've found that with the Crebensis. Like I don't charge anyone for them. I give them away.
Yeah, that's one thing too. At our store, we have somebody that brings us bristlenose plecos for really cheap. We have somebody that brings us convicts, Crebensis for free, and guppies for free. So if somebody else comes in and goes like, I have guppies, I'm like, well, somebody's bringing me guppies for free already. So that's why it's a hard one to pay for that. But the best thing for you as a hobbyist that wants to breed something for profit is go to your fish store. Ask them, what's the thing that's the highest in demand in your fish store? What's the thing you can't keep in stock and people always want to buy?
Yeah.
And they will give you that answer, and that's what you should be breeding if you want to make money off breeding.
I think that was one, like I haven't bred them before. I've got a couple now that I actually got from Blake's Aquatics when they were really little, but the Pistogramma cockatoides, they are not around that much down here. And I did speak to the local fish store here and I said, I'm thinking about getting a Pistos or Crebensis. I know that's a bit different, but I had Crebensis when I was a lot younger, and they were the first fish that bred for me. They're probably the first fish that breeds for most people. So I went down nostalgia lane and went down that path. But if I had gone the other way, I probably would be able to actually sell off a Pistos. So hopefully the pair that I got from Blake will do something for me later. But again, I'm not really looking to breed for profits so much. So you've turned the store around. You've got it all sort of running the way that you want. What are your favorite aspects of, running a store in a hobby that you love so much? Like, is it too much sometimes? You just want to get away from fish, or do you just love every minute of it?
So
That Facebook, yeah.
yeah, when I started the job, I still had about my 40, 50 tanks. And then it got too much to a point where I got rid of all my tanks except for 3. And as you can see here, there, there's more tanks again. I just set up
You're
a
still at
couple
the shop.
months
What are you
ago.
talking about?
But these are all shrimp tanks. So when it comes to my personal tanks, it takes a lot for me to get that certain excitement anymore because I see some fish just every day at work. And I don't have the desire to keep them at home.
Yeah.
I mean, I will never get rid of my Fahaka puffer because he's my favorite fish in the house. And then I would never get rid of my mantis shrimp because he's just the coolest crustacean there is.
We actually opened this video with me standing over there watching your videos on the mantis shrimp.
Oh, really? That's funny. Yeah, no, but it takes something like a mantis shrimp for me to like get that excitement and that passion about fish keeping. Like, I like the simple things too, angelfish, guppies, but I bred angelfish. I had them for years. I see them at the store every day in all colors. It's just not something I would keep anymore for myself.
You know, it's I've never been able to keep guppies, fancy guppies. I'm pretty sure I know why. I think just the water in my area, it's too acidic. I think I need to make the water a bit harder. And I want to try that again. And I'm sort of like starting to keep an eye out for a particular strain of guppy. But yeah, I've fallen in love with the endless, the black bar endless, and just some nano fish. But anything more than that, like larger fish and stuff, I find, yeah, it all starts to get a little bit too much for me as well. I do love the idea of the puffer, like having that water puppy as you sort of net with a bit of a bit of personality.
Yeah, and with me managing a fish store, personally, I like all the things I haven't seen or I don't see every day, and that's like not much anymore because we do keep freshwater, saltwater, we keep African cichlids, we keep live bears, we keep community fish, we have plants, we have shrimp, we have oddballs, freshwater, we have big saltwater predatory fish to reef fish to corals. We have a little bit of everything, and it's there every day. So that's why I rather watch it at work and enjoy it there, because when I come home, the last thing I want to do is a water change.
Yeah. So how do you combat that? Have you got like a bit of a system set up to make it easier, or is it just?
Yeah, like I got 15, 21, 23 tanks right behind me here, right?
I love it. Yep.
I did water changes on those 23 tanks in about less than 2 hours.
Yep.
So
how do you do that?
I'm just fast. It's just practice. It's just practice. No, but shrimp tanks aren't that dirty, so I don't have to change more than like 5% of the water. So they maintain themselves.
A Thirsty Rabbit and Danican, D Anthony, Peaceful Aqua, Dad, how are you?
And right here, I just set that up like 2 days ago. It's a beta sorority.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's like 10 beta females in there.
All different like colors, or?
Yes.
That's cool. So what do you do with the beta sorority? Like, is it nothing to do with breeding? You just like the fish and like that idea, or are you going to use that to try and find the strongest ones to do something with?
Well, so I do have a couple males I do want to breed, so the females are in there, but I just bought them all so I can actually sell them.
Fair enough.
Yes. Same goes for the shrimp. I mean, I will eventually sell them when they breed enough.
Yes. I saw a question just before. And now I've lost it because StreamYard does that to us. No, I've lost it. Here we go. Philly Priscilla, after owning my own fish pet store in the 90s, it took 15 years for me to want more than one tank and to get me more excited about staple fish I loved before the store. So it's one of those things, like I think about that with doing a YouTube channel about fish. I'm like, oh, is this going to make me feel like fish are hard work? Whereas normally fish are known as like a peaceful, natural element that you can have in your house. And then all of a sudden you're fussing over them and all that sort of stuff, whether it takes the joy away or whether it immerses you more into it. And so far I can say that it hasn't made me.
Well, the fish tanks at my house are different for me than the fish tanks at the store, because in the store, I mean, I got 1 or 2 employees depending on the day. I usually every day go in, look at all the tanks, see like which tanks need attention, which tanks need water changes, and I make a list. I write it down, and there's usually around at least 15 tanks on that list. So the goal by the end of the day is to knock that list out, make sure everything's healthy, everything's fed, and then clean the store.
Yeah.
So, and if I know I got 2 hours to do 15 water changes, but every 5 minutes somebody walks in and wants to talk to you, then it's like, okay, I just have to get it done. I'm fast, like clean the glass, gravel back, fill up, and done. But if I'm at home and I know there's no customer gonna walk in and go like, excuse me, I need help, then I can actually like clean the tank nicely. So the tanks at my house look much better than the tanks at the store, because actually I don't have to rush it if I don't want to.
Yes. I know exactly what you mean. I remember we used to be stand around, no customers, and go, all right, we're getting a shipment in. Shipment comes at 12. So at 12 o'clock, shipment arrives, unpack it, and then bang, every customer under the sun all of a sudden is there. And you're like, I'm trying to put, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like I told you today, I'm going to close the store 10 minutes earlier so I can get out and be home by 7, right? It's like 6 or 5:45 and 5 people walk in.
As soon as you messaged me that, I was like, that won't happen. Someone's going to walk in.
Yeah, it's like it never fails. Or as soon as I start siphoning a tank, the door opens. It's like you can count on that. Or as soon as I sit down to eat lunch, the door opens. If I go to the bathroom, the door opens.
Is it just you, is it?
It's like I'm by myself 2 days a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be very frustrating. We used to have customers that would come in. So we close the doors at 5 o'clock. So at 2 minutes to 5, they walk in. And so I'd sell like electronics, sell like big screen TVs and that. So like $2,000-$3,000 items. They'd come in and they'd be like, oh, tell me a bit about this TV. And you're like, yep, just tell them everything. And they go, oh, 2,000's a bit much. How about you do 1,500? Like, no, mate, like it's on special for 2,000, normally 2,500. And they'll just keep going because they're like, well, you want to go home. So they try and get you to cave because you're just like, oh, I'll just do the cheapest price I possibly can because I want to go home. Let's end this now. They did it all the time. It was such a pain in the butt.
Yeah. And every time I'm busy at work, like I try, as soon as I put the fork to my mouth trying to eat and somebody walks in, that person is like, hello, is anybody here? It really never fails. Or like when you come into our store, you see the salt water first, right? And then sometimes people walk in, they look at the salt water, then they look at me and go like, do you have fresh water? And I'm like, yeah, it's right next to the salt water. Like some people are really impatient.
I don't know. Dip your finger in and taste the water until you think.
Yeah. Yeah. No, people.
We had one customer at our showroom the other day, and so we're in like a big lockdown here. So retail stores aren't allowed to be open. Pet stores are, because obviously you need to care for your pets. But yeah, this lady came up and she's banging on the door and she's like, "What's going on? Why are you not open?" And yelling. And we had staff in there because they're doing their work from there, the admin side of things. And they came out, they're like, "Read the sign." And she's like, "What? What?" And they're like, "Coronavirus, we're locked. Everyone is locked. You're not allowed to be here either." And she's like, "Oh, no, I just want one thing." And you're like, "No," like
Yeah,
some
but
people, even
yeah.
when the signs are there and there's a government telling you you're not allowed to do it, they'll still try and do it.
Oh, I get those customers too that actually have a mask in their hand, open the door, and go like, "Do I have to wear the mask?" And I'm like, "It's mandatory here in Boulder." And then they're like,
Yeah.
"Okay," and they put it on. I'm like, "You already have it in your hand. Like, just put it on. It's not that
Exactly.
hard." But
Fish Whisperer Miles, 99 cent super sticker. That's hard to say. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hope you're well. Blake's Aquatics has joined us. How are you doing? I want to ask you, I was leaning towards tell us your favorite customer story, but if you don't want to share, you don't have to. But if you do want to share,
like my favorite positive story or favorite negative
well,
story?
let's go negative first, and then we'll spice it up with a positive one.
To negative, there's a lot. No.
Yeah, I could imagine you would have that many. You'd be like, "Weren't you in here yesterday buying, let's just say African cichlids, and now you're in here buying, some tetras to put with them, or something that's just completely outrageously uncompatible."
It's just in retail in general. I think you have a lot of bad stories because it's dealing with people, and people are different. So not everybody is the same. But like one time I had this lady, maybe in her mid-50s. She bought like 3 clown loaches, and then she came back a week later with the clown loaches in a Ziploc bag, dead. Slapped them on the counter, looked at me, and goes like, "What you gonna do about this?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? What I'm gonna do about this?" And she's like, "I want a refund." And I'm like, "Do you have a receipt?" And it's like, and then she showed me her receipt, and I was like, "You bought that fish more than a week ago. Do you have some of your tank water with you so we can see and if there's anything wrong with your water?" She's like, "No, I don't. You have to give me my refund." And as soon as a customer gives me that kind of attitude that I have to, I don't. I just don't, you know? And then I was like, "Well, let's go look at the tank where the clown loaches came from in our store." So I went there and looked, and all the clown loaches were as happy as can be. And I was like, "Well, there's nothing wrong with our clown loaches here. They came out of this tank, so it must be something probably with your water. And you have to just bring me a water sample." And she's like, "No, no." And then my boss got into it too with it because he was there as well. And he has less patience than I do. And then she just walked out angry and was like, "I'm never going to come back here again. And I'm going to tell everybody to not come here again. I'm going to make sure you're going to get a bad Google review and all that stuff." And it's just like, there's so many people that screw up themselves and they try to blame us. And I'm always willing to work with somebody. Like, even if you buy 10 fish from me and we figure out it was your water that killed those fish, I will give you 10 new fish for 70% off, even if it was your mistake and it wasn't ours. I mean, of course, if it was our mistake and like the whole tank went to hell and we just bought bad fish, of course you get your refund. But yeah, I mean, it's just always the attitude certain people have where it's kind of like when my employee does something and has somebody with a bad attitude and they go like, "Can I talk to your manager?" I'm like, "Well, you're not going to get any farther with me." And then if they talk to me and they don't get what they want, they're like, "Well, I'm going to talk to the owner, send him an email." And I'm like, "Go ahead, I'll write his email address down for you." It's just yeah, if you have a positive attitude with the people that work at your fish store, you get a positive attitude back.
Yeah, I'm a big one for that. I'm a bit different in that I will cave very quickly to going, all right, here's your money back, go away, don't want to deal with you because I don't want it to be a big thing for a long time and just go, cool, the quickest way I can get you out of my hair and just write you off. But then exactly what you said, you look after those customers, they're going to become repeat customers. If they succeed, then you're going to have a better chance at succeeding too, I think. There was a why am I not at the Victorian Freedom March, Josh? I think that explains itself. We're meant to be getting out of lockdown next week, so why the hell are idiots marching now wanting to get out of lockdown? Anyway, Ugly Man's reefing $6 super chat. Thank you, Shane. Appreciate it. Do you sell Royal Dotty backs at your store, Priscilla? And would you recommend them for a nano tank? Wink, wink. Why would you ask that question?
We have sold. I think we haven't had a Royal Dotty back in a while. You mean the Royal? No, the Royal Grommet, the purple, yellow.
No, the one that I got for this tank. That's why I was asking. The bright yellow and purple.
Yes,
Royal Dotty
yeah.
back.
We do sell those, but I would not recommend them for a nano tin.
Why is that? I did lots of research and had none of this, and now I'm getting backlash going, I probably wouldn't have got that one.
Yeah, I mean, they do get... It's not the size problem, it's an attitude problem they get when they're bigger.
Yeah.
Was
it you that said it, or was someone else said it can depend on the actual fish? Some aren't too bad, but some can be real jerks.
Yes. I mean, you have about a 50-50 shot of it being okay or it being like a terrorist later on down the road.
So far, so good, but it will be interesting. Actually, the hair algae. Well, before we go to that, what was the positive story you had from customers?
Oh, positive. So, I mean, one time I had this younger gentleman, maybe early 20s. He came in, has 2 rope fish he had forever, and they got sick. And I probably sat there with him for 2 hours trying to figure out what's wrong. So I sold him the medication and all that stuff. And then a week later, he comes back, brings me cookies. Brings me cookies and a drink and just goes like, thank you so much. You saved my fish. Because I took that time. Even though the medication he bought was like $8, I still spent about 2 hours with him trying to figure it out.
Yep.
And there's a lot of customers like that. They have a certain problem, and a lot of people are really attached to their fish they had for a while. So if you help them out, if they have a problem, then they usually really thankful, and that's usually what makes my day. If somebody comes in and goes, okay, because you helped me, my tank looks amazing. Or if a customer even sends me a message and shows me a picture of their tank or whatever, and goes like, hey, because you helped me, this is how it came out. I mean, that's the most positive thing about it. Passing the passion on, basically.
That is, it's sort of harks back to what I said just before. It was same. I have a story from the other side that one of the local stores here helped me learn how to grow a carpet. So because they've helped me learn how to do that, I will bring more business to them without even thinking about it that way, because you feel good once you heal a fish and it's the tank's looking good and the fish are looking good, then you're more excited about it, and then you're going to go and do more with it. I mean, not everyone has multi-tank syndrome, but you support the people that help you achieve what you're trying to achieve. Yeah,
and I tend to be honest with people too. If I think they're making a bad choice, I'll be like, yeah, I don't know, maybe you should think about doing something else. Like, not even though I could sell them something for more money, that's usually not how we roll when it comes down to it.
Yes, no, definitely. Now, you gave me some advice on the hair algae when I released a video on Wednesday or Tuesday. God, what is today's Saturday? All right, this week. Can't tell what day it is anymore. Hermit crabs to help with hair algae. I've never thought of it, never heard of it, but that's only because I never really thought about hermit crabs in a marine tank before.
I mean, I didn't know your other friend from Australia. He said you guys can't have emerald crabs or something.
Emerald crabs, yes.
Yeah. So
We
I
can't.
was like, I didn't even think about if this stuff you can actually have in Australia or not.
Well, the only place I see hermit crabs for sale, they're not in water. So are they exactly the same crab, or am I thinking of something different?
No, I
So
think it's different. You should probably go to your fish store and see what they actually have, like for
yeah,
bottom feeders. The best thing you could get for to eat hair algae is a lawnmower blenny, but a lawnmower blenny, I mean the name already says it, you know. But they do get about maybe 4 inches, and they can get really territorial. So it
okay.
wouldn't really be a good fish for that setup, but he definitely would destroy all that hair algae.
And the fact that I have a pistol shrimp, I've been told pretty much cancels me out to be able to have any other crustaceans in there because he likes to eat other crustaceans.
Not if you give him enough food. He's not gonna go out of his way to kill something if there is food.
Yep.
And I mean, the tank's fairly new. I haven't ever seen a new setup saltwater tank without algae.
Yep.
That's just normal. That's just part of it, trying to find its balance, and maybe test your phosphate levels. Maybe your phosphate levels are too high, which makes the algae grow.
Yes. Did she answer? Did she answer? Is she on her way? Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, the land
Sorry.
hermit crabs are different than the saltwater.
See you, Candy. Thank you. Sorry. Blake saying he had a fully aquatic hermit crab, but it ate some of the coral. The other thing I was thinking about is like a refugium, whether that would help. But I don't think I've got room for that.
I mean, you can do like a hangback refugium with a light and then put some Kato algae in there, or any other type of macroalgae, and it would help consume that extra nutrients. I mean, it's either probably you have a lot of nutrients in there or too high phosphates, and that's why the hair algae is growing.
Yes. We'll get there.
So definitely test your phosphate levels and test your nitrate levels.
That's the other. I need to get a proper marine test kit.
Yeah.
So I can do all of
it's usually
those.
easy to find the source of the problem in a saltwater tank.
Yep. I will let you all know once I figure out what is going on. Other than that, everything else seems to be fine. No, I've only lost one coral because it got into a fight with another coral, which is fascinating to me still. But yes,
It's
hair
Do you
algae.
have carbon in that tank, or is it just sponge pads?
No, actually, no carbon.
Maybe put some carbon in there and see what happens.
That's a good idea. Don't feed the saltwater tank as much food as the fresh. Yeah, I feel funny with that as well because there's only 3 fish or 4 fish and and the pistol shrimp. When I put the food in, I'm a bit like, it feels like too much, but it gets washed around really quickly. So, whereas with the freshwater, I usually put it near the intake, the output on the filter, and spread it across. But there's always so many fish; they go for it really quickly. They seem to be a bit slower, the saltwater, to eat. But
Do they eat it right away, or is there a lot of stuff going into the rocks?
They eat it right away, but they generally seem to like grab it, go back, eat, and then go out and look for it again. So by the time they do that, everything starts pushing through. And I've got, I don't know the official word for them. I just call them zombie snails to help as cleanup crew. And the shrimp, he comes out and grabs bits and pieces as well whenever I feed them. Away from my dirty tank. I'm loving it's just the algae, and as everyone's saying, it is pretty normal for a newer setup to have it. So it's something that hopefully in 6 months or maybe 12 months time, we'll have the answer. It could be a good case study to say, this is what I did and it worked, so try it. tell us about your art. Have you been drawing, painting all your life, or
Pretty much, yeah.
because it's fantastic?
Thank you.
The
I don't think
thumbnail.
so, but thank you.
What's with all you amazingly talented artists who go, oh, I don't know if it's that good. I'm like, yeah, it is that good.
It's like,
I
yeah.
I loved making the thumbnail for this this video today because just that turtle and the colors and everything. I was like, oh, you had so much good artwork. I was like, I don't know what to put on on the thumbnail.
I think I gave that turtle to Caleb, didn't I?
I'm not sure. This is
Like-
one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you as well, because I feel like when you and I are in the same stream, that either you're up and I'm in the chat, or the other way around, and you're one of the first people that I found about 18 months ago now in the chats with like Aquafunk and Rob93 and all that sort of stuff as well. So always wanted to have a chat with you as well. I'm trying to bring up is it Etsy?
No, it's just PriscillaMKArt.com. The art, my portfolio, it's what I call it.
MK Art. You mind if I screen share that?
Yeah. I mean, I've been around this community. I've been around for a while, so that makes me feel old. But yeah, it's been a minute since FishFam started going there.
Oh no, it's an amazing community. All right, so I like this site too. It's nice and neat. Let's have a little look at the aquatic freshwater. I love that one, and I love the black better that you did as well. So for anyone that hasn't checked out Priscilla's artwork, so you sell these as prints, yes?
Most of them. That's just more of a portfolio.
I like that.
Rob from Flip Aquatics is selling that one on his website.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm.
That's very cool. What are these? Like, what plant or
Alder cones.
alder cones?
Yeah, from alder trees.
Okay. We don't get them, Daddy. We get pine cones.
Yeah, they're similar, just smaller, much smaller.
Oh, I love that one too. I can't see anyone.
That's Bob Steenfot goldfish.
Is it?
Yeah, one he had forever.
So did you just get a photo of it and?
Yeah, I think he just sent me the picture. He had like an incident where he had the goldfish in his garage, and then they ended up not making it because it got too hot. And he really liked that goldfish a lot and asked me if I could draw it. So I think that's the story to that one.
Now you're making me worried because oh no, well I had my goldfish in the garage last summer. We're obviously coming into warmer months, and pretty much after this I'm going to clean an oven and then I'm going to finish setting up the goldfish tank in here in preparation for summer. I love this one too, the variety. So the Aquatic Experience 2018.
Yes, that was.
So tell me about this one.
I think we did that fish tube booth at the Aquatic Experience, and I made that poster so that people have something to sign. Like usually every time there is an event, I make a poster of some sort, and then YouTubers use it, or people take the poster and have every YouTuber sign it.
That's cool. Where do they get the poster from?
I might have somewhere in a dusty corner. Jason from Jadwin Aquatics, he's the guy that prints everything.
Okay. We'll need to talk to you about the Underwater Pet Expo if we're ever allowed to do anything in Australia ever again. I'm sure we'll be having another Underwater Pet Expo. I'll have to commission you to get something done for that. I love this letter.
I don't know if anything is gonna happen here in the States either, like event-wise. So
The Aranda.
that should
What's
hang at the Aquarium Co-op warehouse, I think, or the store.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one or the other.
That's cool. Goldfish are so derpy and cute and awesome and so much
And
person.
that leopard frog pleco was for Corey. I think he has that somewhere.
Okay. I haven't seen one of those actually before. Leopard frog pleco.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Do you know what fish that is?
No, I was going to say, is that a freshwater goby?
Most people don't know. It's a rhinogobius toy or something. I think.
Okay.
So. Yeah, it's a goby. That was a commission piece as well.
That's pretty cool. I like the way that don't know if I'm looking at two pictures or one with the background.
That's me trying to be creative.
Well, it worked. There was one of the fish stores near me has a desert goby, freshwater desert goby, I think it is. Ugly looking fish, but they are pretty fascinating. I think they're an Australian native. I need to try and find out a bit more about it.
Is it a dragon goby?
No, I don't think so. I think it's Australian desert goby. I'd have a look on my phone, but my son's stolen that.
Wait, okay. Desert goby. Well, that's not ugly.
Then maybe it's a different one.
Yeah, no, that's not ugly at all. I think he looks cool. With this guy?
Australian desert goby.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, no, that one looks cool.
They look cool there. They don't look cool in the shop.
You should Google dragon goby.
Is that freshwater or?
They start out in fresh and then go eventually brackish.
Okay.
But I mean, ugly.
Oh, no thanks.
It's a face that only a mom can love.
Yeah, it looks like it'd just be pissed off at you all the time.
Yeah, no, they look angry.
All right, let's have a look over here. There's so much artwork. Aquatic saltwater.
There's not much. I need to get on saltwater more. Need to do more saltwater art.
Yeah, this is the one that I was like, oh, just the colors and it just screams like the beauty of nature. Just you've got, the flowers, obviously. That's just you being creative.
Yeah, I was trying to be creative. Yeah. Yeah, I think I gave that one to Caleb.
The original.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Score. I love this one too here.
Oh, the guppy?
Yeah.
That's Twin City Guppy's logo.
That's what it is. I was like, it's someone's logo. What?
Yeah, it's Twin City Guppies.
I'm probably missing a lot of stuff in the chat, but that's
Corey's wife, Corey commissioned that for his wife as a Christmas gift.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I love the photo too.
That was for the Aquarius podcast.
As for what, sorry?
Aquarius podcast.
Yes. Are you using different things here, aren't you? So some of them are pencil, some are water. Is that watercolors?
It's usually watercolor and pencil mixed together, whatever works out best.
I love that one.
That was a logo too. Yeah, most of my art pieces were commissions.
No, they're absolutely fantastic. So let me copy this link and put it into the chat for everyone to check out.
But SwissAquatics.com is where I sell some of the prints.
Well, that might be better, hey.
Yeah.
Aquatics.com. Why?
Aquatic.
Curious. So you sort of run under the two names. Do you ever tempted to change your YouTube to Swiss Aquatics?
I don't know. Should I? I haven't thought about that.
I don't know. I suppose it sort of tells people straight away, like, all right, aquatic channel, fish channel.
Yeah.
And whether it would be more beneficial, I don't know. But I was thinking it because I really like the logo and I really like the story as well. Like coming from maybe because I'm Australian, so I've never been to Europe and I've never been to America. But like you've got a whole different background of things going on that I would be like, and I have been while we've been chatting, just going, I don't know what it would be like. You know, as I said, you weren't really into the hobby when you were back home, but when you go back again to visit, I would love to see what your thoughts were when you walk into a shop and go, hey, that's a dumb idea, or wow, never would have thought of something like that. That's
Well, I mean, I do follow like German aquascapers, or like I watch German YouTube channels and stuff too. So it's not that I don't know what's going on over there. I mean, everything over there is different too. They're like more focused into nanoplanted things than we are. I feel like the American market is the most behind when it comes to products, and then the European market, and then the Asian market. The Asian market is like the most advanced when it comes to aquarium products. They have things now we maybe will use in 5 years, just because they're the makers of it. But I don't know about the Australian market, how much products are available there versus here. So
it seems to be pretty different, and I think it's funny. Like I started doing this with YouTube and really enjoy the videos and meeting everybody and it giving me the confidence to get new fish and start new tanks and try different things. And I was really starting to feel like talking to people like yourself that I am starting to feel like I think I want to go down that path that you just mentioned and sort of see what is available down here that isn't available, that you guys have access to over there, and what are the benefits of it, and whether it's, you know, something to explore and really sort of get immersed in the industry. I don't think I could run a fish store, and for lots of the reasons you were talking about earlier. But I feel like that might be a place that, yeah, I'm always interested to hear what you guys all say, especially on that side of the pond. Everyone's saying that your artwork is beautiful. It's fantastic. It's fire.
thank you.
So,
Oh, but speaking of which, um, working at a fish store, you deal with all these fish, and that's most 90% of the time it's amazing. The 10% of the time where it's not, it's when stuff goes wrong. It usually goes horribly wrong. But yeah, you deal with all these fish. But then also working at a fish store, it's you have to know all these products. Like you have to have a product knowledge. Like if we sell 3 different types of hang on back filters, I have to be able to explain to a customer what are the differences between those 3 filters and which one would be better for their tank or their needs or whatever. There's
yes.
so many products when it comes down to it too, not just the fish.
Yeah, I've definitely learned that with the hang on back filter I'm using over here is a Slimline Marina hang on back. It's really cool. It's really thin, works really well. It's really quiet. But the lip on it to let the water back into the tank is so low that on a tank that it's designed for, the size of like 50 liters, you've got to have the water level like down this much just to let it break the surface of the water. So if I had a different, maybe, I don't know, the only thing I could think is to have it in a taller tank rather than a longer tank. So
It's made like that to be quiet, to actually sit in the water and be a quiet design, so you don't hear.
Do we care as fish hobbyists about the noise of water? Or is it just people that don't like?
You don't, but 90% of the consumers are. The other 90% of the consumers.
No, I think you're right. And the other one, I got another light for it the other day, and I thought it would be perfect, but it's a bigger light. It's perfect for that tank, but the way that it sits, it actually comes forward. It needs to be in more of a square tank than a rectangle tank. Otherwise, I'm lighting the desk, not the tank. So,
yeah, and I mean, hobbyists like you are or I am is like maybe 5% of the consumers that are consuming aquarium products. And it's, I mean, we are somewhat of a rare species of people or human with a special type of interest. Like if I have a hobbyist, maybe at my store there's like 5 hobbyists in total. Come in once a week, do their thing, get out. And sometimes, I mean, there's a couple of them. If they want something, I tell them, go catch it yourself. I don't care. You know, it's like whatever. Like I'm not gonna ask anything. I'm just gonna ring them up and buy. You know.
Yes. That's awesome. Was there anything you wanted to share? Anything that's coming up on your channel or anything else?
Well, I'm putting out a video tomorrow, so I hope everybody's gonna watch that.
I need to find your link.
Like everybody keeps telling me to make more videos, and I know, but I'm a really busy person, and editing takes forever.
I do love your thumbnails too.
Editing just takes so long.
Papa.
I saw your videos got really, really good compared to like the first few. Like
what was wrong with my first?
no, like B-roll and all that stuff and music and just everything seems to be in harmony basically.
No, thank you. I try and improve it each week. So it's funny. I'm like learning that. Like I love doing it. It takes a lot longer to do than just a normal video, but it's that rule of YouTube when you go, I'm going to work on something for 2 weeks and put it out and no one watches it, or I'm just going to go look at this weird worm that I found in my tank, and then bang, people watch it, and you go, oh, like so. I suppose trying to have that balance of a bit of both, but I appreciate it because I feel like. Maybe I don't know if you feel like this with art, but you learn something with each project and you try and get better and better and better.
Yeah, if I look at art I did like 3 years ago, I'm like, oh no, I would do it much better now, probably, or I think I could do it better now. But like the last video, the one with that saltwater tank, and you made that B-roll, I was like, he even makes the hair algae look good.
Well, thank you.
The video quality was really good. And I was like, I wish, and I shoot for good video quality too, but because of it, it takes me forever to edit.
Yes, I just bought a new camera, and that's why this is stuffed up, and now I'm using this camera, and I've realized, for those playing at home, if you want to watch the replay, my hair's sticking up over here, which it wasn't sticking up from that camera. But yeah, I was playing with the new camera and I'm finding, all right, that makes such a difference to feel like you can make a shot look just a little bit better. And then I really like doing B-roll. So it's been a big help.
I do have a pretty fancy camera too. See?
What have you got there?
It's a Canon T8i.
Nice. I'm a total noob to these cameras now, but
and I broke my mic, so I had to rubber band it.
Was that expensive, that mic?
It is expensive. It's like $100.
Oh, look, I can film you while I'm doing this. I got Blake's Aquatics is he's done a bit of research, and I was looking at some of the same sort of thing. We had the same sort of goal. And one of the other guys down here had the Rode wireless mics. So that's been really cool to play with. Blake is my sounding board when I film a 15-minute video and realize I didn't turn the mic on. He's like,
Yeah,
yep, I've done that before.
his video is really good. His videos are really good too. Good quality content.
Yeah, exactly. Aqua Mate, your editing. Thank you, Peaceful Aqua. Very nice of you. The same problem with the slimline filter. You can keep hang on backs, Craig Broderick.
Well, like I said, they're designed to be quiet. So it's not really design flaw. It's just your expectations from the filter.
Well, yeah, I think breaking the water surface is a big thing for me, and that's the problem. I don't feel like I'm quite kind of getting what I should be doing with it. But maybe I should just suck it and see, raise the water and see, hang on, actually it's still moving the water enough. It might be all right.
If you put some mystery snails, can you have snails in Australia?
Yeah, we get mystery snails.
Okay, I was like, get mystery snails, lower the water level, then you have an excuse to lower the water level.
Yeah, true. We can't have koi where I live. We can't have
Rumble? Rumble has koi?
Yes, so he's on the other side of the country. He's allowed koi, but they're not allowed shrimp.
Oh, but you are allowed shrimp?
Yeah.
How does that work out?
I don't know. I think they just maybe that they'll thrive in the local waterways or something like that. I don't know why shrimp, to be honest. I have no idea. With the koi, I think they compete with local fish over here in these conditions, and too many people releasing them in the wild.
And what about Australian rainbow fish? Like everybody here loves Australian rainbow fish.
Yeah, they're too boring. No.
Oh, really? Because it's a native fish for you?
No. To be honest, it's sort of they're not seen as much as they should be. It's something I want to sort of focus on over probably the next year. And there's a lot around me that are available. I'd like to sort of look at each species, but there's only one that I know of. It's probably about half an hour, 40 minutes from me that I could go and try and find them in the wild. But a lot of them are from up north where the water's a lot warmer. So that is something we'll try and do in the future as well, and try and go up there. And Tropical Fish TV is in here. He's told us whenever we can get up there, he can take us out and show us what's what up there, which will be good.
What is it, New Guinea or something, where the Australian rainbow fish are? I think it's, or Papua New Guinea. Isn't that where, what's his name? Gary Lang always goes to collect rainbow fish?
Whereabouts does he go, sorry?
Like New Guinea?
Yes, Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just above Australia. So that's why I think we share similar sort of species.
And then saltwater corals. Like, I love Australian corals, but they're so expensive here.
As a new person to saltwater, it blows my mind how much saltwater can be. Like, I bought a bubble tip anemone in there, which the clownfish has a lot of personality. I didn't expect that.
How much did you pay for that bubble tip anemone?
$45, which is pretty good. But then Sam Parker, have you seen Parker's Reef?
No.
He's another Aussie fisher. He's doing a very good job. He's setting up a big 7-foot tank at the moment. And he's got the red bubble tip anemone, and they're $650 each. And I was like, wow, how could you spend $650 on coral? But he has been able to get pups off it, and he's sold, I think, I can't remember, somewhere like 13 or 14 or something he sold off of it, each at $650. So if you know what you're doing, I suppose it's worth investing. But if you just go, oh, that's pretty, how much is that?
Did you ever see a Australian gold torch?
I think I know which one I
wonder how much it will cost you to buy that, because it cost me a fortune to buy it. Like a lot.
Australian gold torch coral. Oh, there it is. I reckon it would be expensive here too. I've got, I think it's a torch. See, I'm still new to this. At the front of the tank, I
What
try and
color?
put it up. I don't know. It's just like a white. It's not. There's no. It's a little bit of blue in its coloring. But I keep trying to put it towards the top of the tank. It's all good, and then it keeps falling off the off the top of the rock. So I need to glue it.
You should have a manta shrimp that moves everything around. Like I have
What camera are you on now?
I have to glue stuff down. What camera am I on now?
Yeah.
Oh, my laptop.
Ah, bummer. I was going to say you can show us the mantis shrimp.
I think I can if I go on my phone.
Yeah, try that. Yeah, the pistol shrimp moves things around a little bit. He's just digging all the time, sort of never satisfied. A rose bubble anemone is $129. We have them for $80. See, I don't know. I don't know enough about them. Australia has many different climates that range from climates similar to Alaska to climates of the tropics. That is why each province has its own rules and regulations. Correct, Chewy. There's lots of, I suppose that's the thing. Certain things will thrive in certain states that would surely perish with us. Whoop, there goes that sound. Uh-oh.
All right. I think I'm good. Did I mute?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I'll put this as the, I can see you got a HP laptop.
Oh, yeah. It's big too. I have a little mess over here. Oh, but here are my females.
Awesome.
The
Cool.
Barbados. And they're gonna get some company by some white clouds.
Oh, cool. In the bag up there.
Yeah.
Nice. I love white clouds.
I almost forgot about. Let me see. I have to move into a different room real quick and go all the way to my house.
What do you feed to a pistol shrimp? He just picks up some of the pellets that I feed from the other fish. So some of the food that makes it to the bottom, and I do frozen brine shrimp every now and then. I'm not a big one on doing too much frozen food too often. Otherwise, I think I'll end up with a bit of a mess in a toxic tank or something. Red carpet anemone is $1,000. Green carpet anemone $200. Blue $300. Regular carpet anemone $150. I haven't seen the carpet anemones, or I might have seen it but not realized that's what they're called.
There we go. The lights were off already, so I had to turn them back on. Let's see if I can make this more white.
There we go.
Yeah.
So what do you feed a mantis shrimp?
Clams, krill, anything.
There he is. He or she?
It's a he.
There you go. I was 50% going to get that right.
There he is.
They're amazing. And not shy at all.
Oh, no, he's not.
So what's the story behind him? Like, have you always wanted one, or you sort of they come into the shop and you went, oh, I need to get one of those? Or
So I had this tank sitting around empty for like 6 months. And then I was placing a fish order and I saw a peacock mantis shrimp on there. And then I was like, oh, I have this 28-gallon at home. I should just buy it. So it was an impulse buy.
that's a good impulse buy. Man, they're crazy.
And see, he'll just step on the corals. He doesn't care.
Now, it's the mantis shrimp is the pound for pound the strongest animal in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, let me get a piece. I'm gonna go get a clam on a half shell.
Miles, do I have a Watchman goby paired with my pistol shrimp? I did, but I lost my Watchman goby because I didn't have proper lids on the tank, and I had a blackout, and he jumped out. I now have a proper lid, and now I'm on the lookout for a lone Watchman goby that I can hopefully pair with my pistol shrimp. So, not very easy to find or anything, but I will endeavor to get them paired up again.
That's a clam on a half shell. I can't hand feed them because I'm scared it's gonna hurt. So I do this on tweezers, and he sees really well. So, but try to hear it. Oh, that was quick. He just grabbed it.
Now I'm taking this in here.
Now he's gonna come back. Oh, he's kicking it.
Ugly Man saying, is he a boxer or a spear mantis?
A boxer. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
He's punching it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's just in there punching
it. So he's in there on his own?
Yeah, it's like his little hole. Like if I try to take it from him.
No dice.
No, he's not gonna let go.
Peaceful Aqua bet he could crack the glass. Would that be possible?
He could if he would wanted to.
God.
Let me see it. Yeah,
That's
so
the
he
fastest striking animal in the world, is it? Okay.
now he's eating it. See how he's holding it?
Yep.
Oh, that's my dog. Grandma, stop.
And he barks too.
Yeah, he's one of those little barkers.
That's very cool. I've never seen one down here. I don't even know if we can get them down here.
So yeah, he's gonna go. That's his entrance here in the front, and then it goes all the way through in the back, and it comes out back here.
And so he's just dug that in himself?
Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't play well with others.
No. And he just runs over the corals.
Yes. And if it's a frag that's not glued down, he will use it and put it back here. You see those frag pieces?
Yep. It's a bit blurry, but yeah.
He will take them and like close his back entrance basically.
Shut the back door. Whoop. Caught me watching then. Most commonly seen in the marine hobby seems to be the hammer or boxer type. I'd be scared to clean that tank. I wouldn't blame you, Peaceful. There are two types of mantis, one that can crack shells with the hammer type arms and one that has spear type arms that can spear their prey. Boom.
I was trying to get on Wi-Fi, so I kicked myself out.
Yeah, it's a little bit better now, yeah.
I didn't notice I wasn't.
Yeah, so sorry, I think I was thinking before, does he damage the corals?
No, he doesn't. He just wants to pluck,
Okay.
which is why there's all these shells here. So I give him shells and everything he can use to build his little construction bag.
Ah, yes. Very cool.
Yeah, he wants to pluck. He doesn't care what is attached to the pluck. He just wants to pluck. And like this big rock over here, he moved that the other day too, which is why my acan here is dying because it was upside down in the sand all day. He moved
Yeah.
the whole rock.
It'll recover though, yeah?
And it looks like it's dying.
Oh no.
And it's starting to turn white. And all the frags on the frag rack, for some reason, he leaves those alone.
Is that a green hammer or a frog spawn?
Which one?
I can see the saltwater. Ugly Man and Miles are like, oh my god, is that this? Is that? I like that. I like that. I like the blue light. I know lots of saltwater people are like, no, not the blue light. But I love the blue light.
Yeah, so that one is kind of yellow green. And that
Yeah.
one's green. And that one's green with purple tips.
It's very, very cool.
So he's back. I think he's still holding his food, but see?
Just the colors as well.
So I showed that before in a live stream, but I can mess with him if I put this in his, if he goes in there and I put this in there, he will bring it back out. But now he's busy eating.
It's like, why are you messing up my house?
And he's like, if I move a shell, he gets mad because he's like, that's not where I put it. Like he remembers where he puts stuff.
Wow.
Like it's a pretty smart creature, and he can see everything too. Like my bed is right over there. If I get up in the morning, he like is here and watches me.
They eat fish in the wild, don't they?
To eat anything they can get.
Anything.
Yeah. They love hermit crabs though.
Sure, hermit crabs don't love them.
Which, I did that one video about when I got the shrimp, and I always wanted to do an update, but I don't want to give people an idea that getting a mantis shrimp as a pet is a good idea.
Yep.
So I'm kind of hesitant on making an update video because I want to make sure to let people know or make them understand that it's really something just for an advanced fish keeper, because like people don't like to do maintenance, and with the mantis shrimp you cannot have a cleanup crew. It's impossible.
Yeah.
He will eat the cleanup crew. So
Clean up crew equals
you
food.
are the cleanup crew, yeah. And if you're scared of the mantis shrimp punching you and you can't put your hand in a tank, then you should not get one either, because you're going to have to put your hand in a tank.
Well, I reckon that'd be a good video. As in, like, use that as sort of the title and just say, is this a good pet? And have the picture of the mantis shrimp. And then you can, still get your message out there while doing an update.
Right. Yeah, it's just more maintenance than a regular tank is. And look, I'm playing with my fingers up here.
He's like, is that more food?
He knows it's not food. He knows it's my finger. Like, I can stick my hand all the way in the tank and he won't punch me, but there might be one day he decides he will. So, and that's kind of the risk you have to take if you get something like him. And I know if he's ever going to punch me, it's going to hurt.
That's insane.
But I take that risk because I still need to take care of the tank. But there's a reason why they call him the thumb splitter.
They call them the what, sorry?
The thumb splitters.
Thumb splitter.
Yeah. And yeah, you can't have any other fish. Like, if you put another fish in there, you will be really, really disappointed.
I'll just put a link to Priscilla's channel, so definitely go over and check out the video, the first video about the manta shrimp, and hit that red button and subscribe and follow all of that.
I appreciate it. I can see chat in
Oh, well, thank you very much for sharing. Like, don't wake me. I didn't agree to being on film. Yeah, thank you very much for joining me today and for showing us your manta shrimp and your artwork and your story. It's been a lot of fun. What have we got? We only get like one or two types of turtles that we can really have as pets down here.
This is a red-eared slider turtle.
Red-eared slider turtle.
It's living in a 75 with a little.
How many tanks you got at home now? 23.
I didn't even count these. Just in the back room, there's 26 actually. And then I have 125 in the living room, and this one, and the turtle one. I don't know, a lot. Too many.
Wow.
But yeah, thanks for having me on, and it was fun.
No, absolutely. Been very good. And what was the video that was coming out this week?
It's about how to attach moss to things.
I like that. I actually got given some little wire mats that I want to try and attach some mini Taiwan moss to and try and grow it in a couple different tanks and see how I go with it. So I will be watching.
I just did rocks and wood. I didn't think about the mesh.
That's all right. Even if you're talking, because I just worry about gluing. Like if you're, I feel weird gluing moss. I feel like it wouldn't be good for it.
Yeah, I did the basic 3 options of how to attach moss to stuff. Like the fishing line, string, or glue.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
No, that will be good. So definitely make sure that you are subscribed to Priscilla and catch that video as well. But yes, I do think you should do an update on this guy, and I think it'd be a good one, good awareness, because some people go, "Oh, I'm going to try and find one of them." But if you're someone educated like yourself, can say, "I wouldn't do it unless you are prepared for, this, that, and the other."
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know if you guys have that too in Australia, but like I have Aptasia in here. You see that?
What is it?
Aptasia, those little anemones, pest anemones.
I'm not sure. I'm still too new to the saltwater side of things.
See these brown little anemone-looking things?
Yes.
So they multiply quick, and they will sting your corals.
Yeah. Well, that's not handy.
That's why you quarantine your corals, so you don't get this kind of stuff. But because I didn't do that, I don't have Aptasia in here now. Normally, people will get a peppermint shrimp or something, or a filefish to get rid of it because they will eat that. But I can't get that. So I have to use a syringe and kill them with paste. So that's why if you do get a mantis shrimp, it's like certain
All the
people buy
about.
certain things to get rid of pests, but you can't do that with a mantis shrimp. So
Ugly Man is saying yes, we do have them. Pat, I've really enjoyed the stream tonight, Josh and Priscilla. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, everybody who's been here. Next week, we are speaking with Joel from Corvus Ocean. I never say that right. Oh, I read it as Oskin, but Ocean.
it's awesome.
Yeah, because it's an American way to say it. That's the problem.
I'm not American, so
You're halfway there.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and yeah, I look forward to your update during the week, and the and want to see more about the mantis strip soon. But thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
I hope you have a good night, and thanks everybody. We'll see you really soon.
Thanks.